Welcome back to my channel. I am 9th house Jupiter, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about the Capricorn moon. So if you've looked at your chart and you realise that you've got a moon in Capricorn, or you know a Capricorn moon and you're with a Capricorn moon and trying to understand them on a much deeper level, then I'm about to break all of that down. So as some of you may know and some of you may not know, your moon sign is one of the most interesting things to know about yourself and also about other people, because it's the inner side, it's the inner emotional feelings of somebody. It's the private part actually, and the hidden sides to us. It's not what people first see when they meet you, because that is your rising sign, and it's not how you express yourself, because that is your sun sign. So your moon is your emotions, your feelings, your reactions to things. Your moon sign is going to let you know what you sort of need in this lifetime to feel emotionally fulfilled, and it'll also give you a really good indication as to what type of mother that you had and how you were raised really and nourished as a baby. Now, I was raised by a Capricorn moon. My dad is a Capricorn moon, and it seems to be quite a prominent moon sign in my family actually, particularly over on my dad's side. So my nan was also a Capricorn moon, my dad Capricorn moon. My oldest brother, his first son, Capricorn moon. My mum is a Capricorn sun sign. My daughter is a Capricorn sun sign. My best friend, or one of my best friends I should say, is a Capricorn rising. So I have many different angles of how this archetype plays out. So let's have a look at what it's like to have your moon in Capricorn, because this is in a feminine cardinal earth sign. So this is a feminine cardinal earth moon that we're talking about here, that's ruled by Saturn. That cardinal aspect makes them be very driven. You've got the earth part that makes them very stable. But the important part here is that this is a Saturn-ruled moon, and this is the first time I'm talking about Saturn in my moon sign series. So Saturn is a pretty serious planet, I'm not going to lie. You know, you need to definitely understand where Saturn is in your chart and how it's playing out, because it has can have serious impacts on how things play out for you, because this is the biggest malefic planet. This is a planet that's of course known for being cold and detached. It has icy rings. Saturn is boundaries, limits, restrictions. It's the god of time, and you know, it's the last planet that we can see in our solar system with our naked eye. That's why it represents the boundaries. You know, it's got harsher connotations to it really, and to understand Capricorn you do need to understand Saturn here, because we are in effect talking about a Saturn moon, aren't we? The moon is in exile in the sign of Capricorn, and that's because the moon rules over the 4th house. So when the moon is in the opposite sign to its home and where it likes to be, it automatically puts it into exile, because it's not the most comfortable there. Actually, it's the furthest point away from its home sign where it likes to be. And let's think about it for a second. Cancer, the zodiac sign of Cancer, this is a very emotionally driven sign, a whole very watery sign, of course, being cardinal water. But with Capricorn, this is very much like a strong, sturdy earth sign, and not the most emotive really. So that's why the moon is classed as being in exile here. But I'm not saying that's a really bad thing, and you know, something really, you know, you can't deal with it. So like, oh no, it's not that. But it is a more difficult placement. We have to acknowledge that it is a slightly more difficult placement. And let's face it, everyone's got something a bit difficult in their chart that they've got to deal with. So Capricorn moons, your moon is in exile here. But as I said, we're not going to dwell on all of that, because, you know, I have a lot of respect for Capricorn moons actually. And I wish I could be as strong as them half the time, to be honest. But anyway, so let's have a look at how will a Capricorn moon react. How does Capricorn moons react? So these are not really impulsive people. They're not going to instantly react to things and, you know, fly off the handle. They're actually more reserved here. We're talking about Saturn ruling the inner emotions, talking about planet boundaries on the inner core. So there is restrictions there, I guess, when it comes to reacting really quickly. There's a logical process that happens. First, Capricorn moons deal with things on a logical basis. Like, it needs to make sense. They're not just going to fly off into some heightened emotional state of being, and without like some really good reason to sort of be there first, or if the time and situation allows that to happen. But you know, they are more reserved, and we are also talking about a feminine earth moon. The feminine is the introverted, and the moon sign is feminine and introverted, so it's like double introverted there. So when it comes to outwardly expressing, you know, and outwardly reacting, sorry, should I say, to some kind of reactions at the moment, yeah, they're quite controlled. You know, they know how to keep control of stuff, even in a really emotional, heightened situation. Capricorn moons keep it cool. So, just to give an example, my Capricorn moon dad and my oldest brother, Capricorn moon, say there's been a death in the family. You know, the way that they deal with that. You know, they're going to be the first ones at the scene. They'll be there helping people, keeping everything sort of calm and orderly. They're not going to be the ones turn up arriving, running around like a headless chicken, not knowing what to do, panicking. Like, no, they will stay calm, structurally and ordered. And it's not that they're not feeling some deep emotion at that time. Like there's been a death that's happened. It's just that these are time and a place type people. They will deal with the emotion of the event outside of the event. They can hold their own. They have a lot of composure and control with their emotions, actually. I guess that's pretty similar to the Scorpio moon. Scorpio moon people, they also are really have a lot of control and composure over their emotions, or they definitely try and instill that control over their emotions, because the moon is fallen in Scorpio and the moon is in exile in Capricorn, so that's kind of why it plays out that way. But these people are kind of cool, calm, collected. They know very much how to appear on outwardly to other people that they are absolutely fine, everything's fine. Like, you know, you ask the Capricorn moon, oh, what's wrong with you? These people are going to be like, oh, I'm fine, it's nothing, or, you know, you just got to get on with it. Like, you'd have to ask a cat moon quite a lot of questions to really squeeze out what's going on inside them, especially if they're not close to you in any way. Then they're definitely not about to start revealing their emotional core. So Capricorn moons, as I just said, they know how to appear cool, calm and collected, and that's because appearance and how they are perceived by other people is of extreme importance to a Capricorn moon. They're very aware of their social image and, you know, how people see them, so they don't really want to be seen by everybody as like some, you know, some vulnerable, blubbering, crying mess. Like, they just don't want that image of themselves out there. And actually, when somebody else is crying around a Capricorn moon, like, this is kind of just from my experience, really. I mean, it could be different for other people, but these people don't really like you to cry around them that much, like, because they just don't really want to deal with it. Like, that they will talk to you about how you're feeling, but they're not with all of the, what would my dad call it, waterworks. That they're not about, you know, the dramatic waterworks and things like that. This is earth, calm, structured, logical. So, you know, appearance is important on the inside, especially on the inner emotions, for a Capricorn moon. It's said all the time, isn't it, how Capricorn moons, they don't feel anything, they're so shut off, they're cold, detached, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't agree with that. I don't think that is the case, because this is the opposite sign to Cancer. The sign of Cancer is, as I said earlier, one of the most emotional zodiac signs that exist, really. So, you know, you share traits with the opposite sign, you know, polarity, two versions of the same thing, really. So they definitely feel emotions deeply. Don't get that bit twisted. These are people that feel things deeply, but they handle it on the inside, and I actually think that they're quite sensitive. But the thing is, you know, because cat moons appear so strong, and especially if they're around people they don't know that well, they're definitely not going to let any of their sort of inner emotional revealings come out and let that out to anybody. So they come across as like cold and detached. So you think nothing bothers them, nothing phases them, like they can deal with anything. But no, they are sensitive and they definitely feel things deeply. This is a fact. But the difference is between a Cancerian moon and a Capricorn moon is that the Cap moon just struggles to outwardly express. We're talking about the moon being in exile. The moon wants to express. Emotions are meant to be free and out there. So when it's in the opposite place, they just struggle sometimes, sort of letting that out. And, you know, Capricorn, these are the realists. These people deal with the here and now, the practical, what's in front of them. This is Earth. Earth deals with, you know, the practicality of things, and they might sometimes see emotions as like intangible. You know, with all that stuff I just said, being realistic with practical matters, like emotions are not real, as in, no, emotions are not tangible. They're not a tangible thing. So Capricorns are like, is sitting there and dwelling on all this emotion really going to get me anywhere? Like, no, they can deal with it logically. In terms of their emotions, Capricorn moons are, you know, very, very controlled people. But we do need to remember, and let's focus on for just a second, the cardinal aspect of this sign. And anyhow, you're a Capricorn moon and you're going to mix some other cardinal energy in there. Like, let's say you're a Capricorn moon, Aries sun. These are pretty, you know, go-getter, driven people, actually. So with that cardinal, the cardinals got very much leadership qualities, as I just said, that kind of go-getting energy. So with a Capricorn moon, like, if something needs to be said, like, a Capricorn moon will say it. If something needs to be done, a Capricorn moon's going to get that done. If someone crosses a line with a Capricorn moon and you know, does something that's classed in the Cap moon's view as unforgivable, then they're going to cut you off, act like you never even existed, you know, like they'll just turn cold real quick. And, you know, sometimes Cap moons, you can already come across cold and detached with someone hurts you, then you can be real cold then. But, you know, Capricorn moons, Sagittariuses are known for being pretty blunt and direct, but my gosh, Capricorns, I think you come in at a close second. I mean, or third. I mean, because, you know, we have got Aries. Aries are pretty direct too, but, you know, Capricorn moons, they don't mince their words. You know, like, these people are not into all the fluff and, you know, making it really nice. And they're going to say it how it is. If you want a real honest answer and you want a reality check to a question, go and ask a Cap moon. They're going to give you the realistic point of view. Like, just thinking of my dad, he is a Capricorn moon, but his Jupiter's actually in Sagittarius. So he's blunt, you know. He does not mince his words. Like, if you want something raw and you want the truth, go and ask my dad a question. But the point is, with Cardinal ruling over the inner part, pretty hard to stop a Cap moon, like derail them off their tracks once they've got something in mind. These are very driven people, they're very ambitious people as well. I'll just throw that out there. They're, you know, these very success, ambition, social image aware people. You know, they want the nice things in life and they work really, really hard to get them. Also, let me just say, Cap moons put most of the people to shame when it comes to work. My gosh, Capricorn moons are very in charge of themselves, and as I've been saying throughout the video, they are emotionally controlled people, and mixed with that driven ambition, they actually can have a bit of a calculating side. Actually, you know, these are not silly people. They know what they're doing. Everything that they do has a purpose. Everything they do will have an action behind it and a purpose. These people don't waste their time. They're ruled by the god of time. They understand the importance of it, so they definitely don't waste it. I mean, you know, let's talk about the hard-working aspect. You know, I already touched upon that earlier, but they're very, very, very hard-working by nature. Come rain, come shine, sleet, snow, whether they're happy, sad, even if they're ill. Like, these people crack on. They don't feel sorry for themselves. They're not moaning about every little inconvenience in their life. Like, these people Trojan on like you've just never seen. Like, I have a lot of respect for how hard Capricorn moons can work. Like, honestly, as I said, you put so many people to shame, really, who are just not at that level that you guys can be at, and you're so consistent with it. How reliable are Capricorn moons? Sorry, let's just throw that one in there. Capricorn moons are reliable, mature from a very, very young age. These are more, you know, they're ruled by Saturn, so they are a little bit more serious, but definitely wise beyond their years. But this is what makes them one of the more misunderstood moon signs, because as I sort of alluded to earlier, they appear so shut off emotionally. Not that they are, but they appear to be, because they don't ask for help all the time, and they seem like they can just do everything and get on with it. Like, they're not easy to read, are they? Like, it's not the easiest sign to read. So Cap Moons, you'd be ideal if you had a partner who did have that perceptive side about them, who could see the signals in you when, you know, you might not be feeling so good or feeling a bit down. Someone around you, close enough to you, who can just sense that and pick things up without saying, do you need specific help with this? Like, they'll just crack on and start helping you because, you know, as I said, like a Capricorn moon, their time is very, very important to them. So if they're spending a lot of time with you, then that's definitely one way that they're showing their affection, really, because it's not the most affectionate of signs, really, to be honest with you. It isn't, not into the whole touchy-feely business. Like, no, Cap moons will do things with their actions to show their love, like spending time and working hard, because Capricorns, you know, Capricorn moons and Capricorn Suns, just the Capricorn archetype in general, really hard-working people. And why? You know, let's think about the 10th house. The 10th house, this is the career house. This is why they are more serious. But this is to do with, like, you know, your social image, public perception, and that's why some of those traits are linked in with the Capricorn moon archetype. And because the moon is in exile here, Cap moons, you know, you can have a bit of a hard time opening up to people, even those people who are actually really close to you. And, you know, that's just something to be mindful of in this lifetime. You know, you have to be able to let people in sometimes, or especially your nearest and dearest, they're going to want to get close to you sometimes. So, you know, just make sure you do work on that. Like, I'm an Aquarius moon, so I'm not exactly Mrs. Expressive when it comes to how I feel. It's something I do struggle with, really, you know, always wanting to openly talk about my feelings, even with people close to me. But it is something that has to be done sometimes. You have to have that trust with people to be vulnerable with, really, you know, because you're so used to being like the hard-working, like, role model. A lot of people look up to Capricorn moons because they just seem so strong. They're just like, people just looking at Cap moons like, oh my gosh, how do they're just dealing with this, they're just doing that, like, even though they're tired, whatever. As I said, you know, they can put some other people to sort of shame, and even how controlled they can be with their emotions. Some moon signs, like, the reactiveness levels are off the Richter scale, and some of them are really dramatic and really loud. Like, with a Cap moon, you're not going to get this. You're going to get sensibility. Like, this is, you know, I think a Capricorn, I think it's sensible. I also think a law and order, actually, as well, because, you know, Saturn's actually exalted in Libra, which is all about law, order, fairness, justification, and all that. So, like, they're kind of like law-abiding citizens, Cap moons, like, you know, they don't want you causing a scene with them out in public. Like, oh my gosh, do not go out with a Capricorn moon and cause a big scene. Like, they don't want that. They do not want that type of attention on them. You know, they don't want to be in any sort of trouble. They don't want to get into trouble. They don't want you bringing trouble to their doorstep or things like that. Like, this is the people who are concerned with how they appear. So they don't want anything, like, any bad things been able to be said about them, because they've worked so hard to make sure that they give out a very good and hard-working and honest, law-abiding sort of perception of themselves. Because we're talking about a Saturn moon here, that I do need to be realistic and touch on the topic of depression here, because Saturn is very, very heavily linked to depression. It is the cold planet, you know, icy rings and all of that. So Capricorn moon sometimes actually might be prone to, I guess, bouts of depression. But, you know, it's not like anyone would even know that much around you, Capricorn moons, because you'll just get up and carry on working anyway, or carry on making sure things get done. Like, these are like absolute soldiers, like Cap moons. Soldiers in so many ways. But, you know, this does depend actually on your chart as a whole, and how everything's aspecting and playing out for you, depending on how your Capricorn moon's going to be playing out. For example, if you're a water rising and you got a water sun sign, then you will be definitely more of an emotional Capricorn moon, for example. If you had your moon in the 4th house or the 8th house, then you're going to be more of a private moon, especially if you use an 8th house Cap moon, then you're definitely going to be lean on more of the private sort of secretive side. Or let's say you got a load of air in your chart, then you might again be a bit more of a communicator, or your moon conjunct Mercury, then you will be more expressive with how you say things actually, and when it comes to your feelings. But this is why it's important to know, like, when we think about this, when we think about the moon, we need to be looking at it in context of, well, how is that relating to my sun? How is that aspecting to my rising, etc, etc, etc. You need to understand it as a whole, so you can start to put all of these sorts of things into context. Capricorn moons understand the long haul situation, so in terms of like a partnership, friendship, they're very, very loyal people. They'll stay with someone for a really, really, really long time. They do not flit in and out of relationships, and they don't jump into relationships easily either. They wouldn't just be with someone for the sake of it. Like, their Capricorn moon's going to be looking at their partner like, well, what can you bring me? What are you going to add to my table? Like, I'm not just going to give everything to you, because I've worked so hard for everything I've got. So they're going to want to make sure their partner is going to be adding some sort of value. This is a very strong sign, as I've said, you guys, very, very strong. So they also need a partner who's quite strong as well. They're not looking to baby a partner, really. They're going to want someone to have a little bit about something about themselves. Like, they're going to have a bit of plan, ambition, or know what direction they're wanting to go in life, because that's what a Capricorn moon person has. And as I sort of said earlier, they're going to need a partner who isn't going to expect them to be all like emotionally wishy-washy, crying all that. You're not going to get that from a Cap moon. Like, if you was having a conversation with a Capricorn moon and you said something like that, most people would be like, oh my God, are you for real? Like, you tell that to a Capricorn moon, they're just going to probably be like, oh, okay. Oh, that's a shame for them. It's how life is, isn't it? Is what it is. Like, it's like you can't just expect loads of extroverted, outwardly expressions in terms of emotions from people with this sign, and make sure you do work on opening up yourself and opening up yourself to your partner, and do let them in close sometimes, because they need it. So do you. You do need it deep down, You're always the one taking people out, paying things, whatever, and then someone takes you out, like, I'm going to take you for food, I don't want to hear anything about it, I'm paying, we're going, like, you're going to be like, no, but really, you're going to be like, oh, take me for some food, let's go. But you might not be. It's just my random, sorry. I can do that sometimes, guys. I can go off on my little tangents, but I'm going to try and stay on track. So, but as a partner, anyway, they make a really, really good partner, trusting. But there is that control freak nature to them. Can't lie about that. Again, similar to the Scorpio, because Scorpio's fallen. The moon is fallen in Scorpio. The moon is in exile in Capricorn, so they can have a bit of controlling tendencies. Actually, they like to be very emotionally controlled of themselves, first of all, but they can actually sometimes want to emotionally control everything else around them too, situations and even people. The zodiac sign of Cancer is a very much family orientated sign, and it represents the mother. And Capricorn is also shares that trait. They are very family orientated and very traditional people at heart too. All Capricorn moons like a family tradition. It's very important. Something like that stoicness there. What's the other word? Like nostalgic. They've got a bit of a nostalgic side too, actually. But Capricorn represents the father, interestingly enough, even though it is a cardinal earth sign, but that's how it is. Cancer, mother, Capricorn, dad. So, anyway, if you are a Capricorn moon, then chances are your mother was a Saturn woman. She would have had Saturn heavily dominated in her chart. It might have even been her signature planet, might have actually been Saturn. She might have been heavily Capricorn or Aquarius even, because obviously Saturn was over Aquarius too. But, she could be Capricorn or Aquarius, sun, moon or rising, or have heavy 10th house energy, heavy 11th house energy, or Saturn is just prominently aspecting the main planets, but some way, shape or form, she would have been a Saturnian woman. And with that meant that you grew up with a mother that would have been, you know, very much into the order and structure of things and tradition of things. Like she would have been strict on you. There would have been rules, regulations. Like she didn't just let you get away with murder. Like you had to pull your weight. To being a Capricorn moon, you know, I said earlier, this is a very wise beyond their years sign. Capricorn moons tend to grow up way beyond their years, and they take on a lot of responsibility actually from a very, very, very young age. Because they appear to be so wise, parents can often lean on the Cap Moon child for some sort of emotional support or put responsibility on them because they think that they basically can handle it. So a lot of Capricorn moons, there's something with the childhood, especially in the childhood, where you had to grow up quicker and take on real adult-like responsibilities. And I'm talking taking care of brothers and sisters, taking care of siblings, or taking care of parents. And, you know, Cap moons probably often when they grow up actually look back at their childhood and realise, oh my gosh, there's some of the things that I went through as a child, like maybe I shouldn't have gone through. They weren't for children. It's just kind of how it is. I am yet to come across or hear of a Cap moon where this doesn't play out, really, to be honest with you. There may also even be even a little bit of resentment actually towards the parents, just because of maybe how much they had to take on at such an early age. But your mum would have just been, you know, ordered, structured, taught you the value of money, taught you the value of hard work, would have always made you aware probably of, like, you know, the family traditions, like this is a traditional sign, like the importance of the family name, the pressure the family name has been passed down to a Cap moon. Like, so they take things seriously. So if you're with a Capricorn moon, then you need to be aware of these things. They are gonna, in their adult life, they're gonna want their own family for sure. It is a family orientated sign. They are going to want children, things like that. They are going to want to include their own personal family traditions, and you're going to have to allow that because you're talking about like a Cap moon. This is how someone feels on the inside, and traditions is very internally important to them. This is something that they're going to kind of want to have. But, you know, overall, Capricorn moons, I have so much respect for the strength. I look up to you guys as role models for so many things. I wonder to myself sometimes, you know, is it in a way, like, because, you know, some Capricorn moons feel as though, yes, my moon is in exile, but I understand why that is, but I feel I handle it very well because it allows me to be able to keep control over things, you know. And sometimes I wish I had some breaks on my reactions before I react to things all the time. But, you know, it's an amazing moon sign. Just because it's an exile, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that it's a little bit more difficult to deal with. And, you know, you just make sure you have got those people around you that you do trust to let out to. And also, let me just get this out before I forget as well. Also, my voice has gone a little bit, but anyway, because this is an earth moon and just so hardworking, like Cap moons don't know how to switch off properly, like workaholics, like it's not work hard, play hard, it's work. Like, you can overwhelm yourself with that. You don't really know how to relax that much and take time off, even when you're ill or when you're down, struggling, whatever. So make sure you do look after yourself, Capricorn moons. Listen to me. Take some time out. Take some time off. Work is always going to be there. You know, it's going to be there whether you're there or not, unless maybe you're the CEO. Some Capricorn moons, you might be the CEO, so can't be having loads of time off. But anyway, when you do have some time to get into nature, you've got an earth moon. Get into nature. It's going to make you feel so good. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That is my video on the Capricorn moon. If there was anything that I said that you liked or could relate to, then drop me a like. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, then subscribe. Come with me on my astro journey through YouTube. Coming up in my next video, this is my moon sign. Woo! So you know I'm going to be excited to talk about this one. It's took to number 11 to talk about, but yes, coming up in my next video, we're going to be talking all about the Aquarius moon. So I'll see you in my next video.